Welcome to my YouTube channel. Welcome to Patreon, or whatever online platform you have come here from. I am hoping that this will be something that can be enriching for you and will help support me in my various endeavors. This is my official Patreon welcome video. I am going to try to hit all the points. I'm going to try to be concise, but that is not something that I come easily to. I have tried many times to do elevator speeches, to do talks in under 3 minutes, and I can't do it. And I've come to accept that I have a circular way of speaking. And I know that people just want you to get to the point, but I feel that allowing myself to speak in the manner that I do, circular, spiraling, wandering, is more authentic to who I am, and accepting that is part of how I am trying, how I am exercising, decolonizing my mind, my heart, my speech, the way that I view the world. And so there's going to be some of that. There's already been some of that. Anyhow, what I would like to do here is to talk a bit about who I am. Why am I here? Why am I on Patreon? What am I creating? And what a subscription, a monthly subscription, could do for you. And what does it help me do? So I will start a bit of talking around who I am. So I have many things that I offer through my spiritual healing practice of weighting clay. And I have created an oracle deck called Roots Dreaming Wisdom Oracle. And the oracle deck has come about as a result, directly as a result of undergoing initiation in a West African healing tradition. It is part of my ancestral lineage, as well as other parts of the world, other traditions, Nepal, also Europe, and a bit of what goes on here in North America as well. But my initiation was West African focused. And previous to that, I was studying plant spirit medicine healing. Previous to that, I was working with herbalism, permaculture gardening, creating medicine wheels in my backyard, wild crafting, working with sound. Did I already say that? I don't know, I can't remember. Hands-on healing. I also offer other practices to support physical wellness. So that's a little bit about who I am. I also am a writer, and I guess I should just claim that I'm a visual artist, because that is predominantly why I am here, and what I am hoping to generate support for is to help the production of this oracle deck. As many of you may know, printing is insanely expensive if you want to get a good batch out, and if you want to make it so that people are able to access it for a reasonable cost, you have to get big quantities. And getting the money up to do that it's a challenge. And so it needs to involve other people. At least in my situation, I don't have tens of thousands of dollars laying around. So yeah, maybe that's enough there. So what is Patreon? So to talk about Patreon is, maybe it's a good place to start to talk about patronage. And patronage in the arts is nothing new. It's been around for a very long time. Without patrons, there would have been like maybe no art created back in the day. You know, like those great works of art, those paintings, music, writing, sculptures, those were all backed by patrons. And so this is a bit of a version of that. It is crowdsourced funding, but not a per project type of crowdsourced funding. This is a subscription platform. So in exchange for a monthly tip, if you would, so if you enjoy the things that I create, the things that I offer, you have an opportunity to tip me through Patreon, and it's a continual tip. And you can tip me for whatever amount you feel is possible. And in exchange for that tip, you receive all kinds of access to goodies. I think at this point, there's almost 160 different posts available on Patreon, depending on the tier that you choose. Some of the things that have gone on there, so I do monthly readings for some of the tiers. Some are 1 card readings, some are 2, some are 3. I do monthly card draws and just talk about some of the principles within that card, the elemental influence, you know, if there's any kind of, like the gemstone, there's like mineral medicines, plant medicines that are all governing those cards. And I just kind of give people a bit of a glimpse at that. We play word games sometimes, kind of scrambling the poetry that's on the card face and seeing if that changes the meaning of the card or opens the meaning of the card. Now videos, which have been kind of fun and weird and awkward, obviously, but fun to play with. What else is offered on there? Lots of things. And it will just continue. Basically, it offers you early or exclusive access to whatever it is I'm creating, working on that day, that week, that month. There's also discounts offered on the purchase of the deck once it is complete. And you can visit my other video where I do a very amateur flip through of the full deck. The deck itself is 44 different cards. The originals are 9 by 12, and they are mixed media hand-cut collage. And the reason why I created them basically was out of desperation. After initiation, well, the first phase of initiation was complete. I was having experiences that I couldn't explain. And that I didn't really have a language for what I was feeling, and I would try to talk with people about these things, and it was causing a lot of fear, or, you know, just kind of the eyes sliding away, blanking out, and let's talk about, I don't know, something more practical. I don't know. It's a strange thing to talk about in this day and age, to talk about initiation. What does that mean? Are you okay? Yes, I am okay. I'm more than okay. And while I appreciated the concern, I was also feeling incredibly lonely, and at a loss for certain kinds of communication. And so I had to keep it to myself. And that is very appropriate for lots of things of a deep spiritual nature, that you don't go around and broadcast your experience while you're experiencing it. Not necessarily, maybe you do. And also, just why are you sharing those things? Like, is it to come across as if you're, you know, valuable or worth something or whatever? And the joke is that, you know, we seek other things to make us feel valid, and really it's all of this, I've come to understand, is just about coming back home to the self, and deepening into the self and into the void, into the vastness of who we really are. And so anyways, I digress, of course. I started creating these pieces out of desperation. And as I was working on them, I was remembering teachings. I was remembering dreams. I was actually seeing images form through the collection of cuttings that I had made, and said, oh my goodness, there is that dream, there is that memory, there's that experience. And everything just kind of came together. And then when 44 had been completed, it was just done. I was just done. I hadn't decided I was going to do 44. 44 was what came. And then that was it for that time. So it's taken me 4 years to complete this deck. Right now, what I am focusing on through Patreon is, as I said, trying to raise the funds to print this deck, as well as to raise the funds to support me while I'm writing. With the deck initially, there will come reference cards, so quick reference cards, so that people will have an understanding of what it is they are looking at, what the significance is of the card that they are working with that day, that week, that month, or that cycle. But there does need to be more detail. So I am trying to work on a companion book. That does take enormous amounts of time. I had no idea that this was going to be as involved of a process as it is, but I've come to realize that this has actually been my initiation, and I am just fine with that. And I get to share things, hopefully in a good way. Yeah, so hoping to print this deck, hoping to complete the writing. Well, I am going to print the deck. This is just ridiculous. It's getting printed. It just depends on how many I can print. Let's just say that. And then writing, however that takes form. And there is a course that is coming out of this deck, a course development, which I am also looking to fund as well. So my hope is that what you receive out of a monthly subscription is enriching for you, is, what else could I say about that? Is food, is food for your soul, is inspiring. You know, and as we go along, there are other things that I'll be adding as we're moving out onto the land, which is a transition that's coming this summer very quickly. Lots around natural building, permaculture practices, working with systems in the wild, and also what could it look like to spiritually connect to the world, to the weather, to the land, so that we can arrive more home inside ourselves, in the world, and with each other. So I hope that you have enjoyed this video, if you stuck with me through my rambling. And yeah, I think that's it. Have a good day.